The world has changed. I can feel it in the camera bags. I can feel it in the tripods. I can feel it in the overpacked luggage. Much that was once carried is now forgotten. For in the fires of practicality, a single lens was forged. One lens to rule every situation. And into this one lens, Sigma poured all of their engineering. But is it truly the one lens to rule them all?
This is the Sigma 16300 for Sony APS-C cameras. Now that's a massive focal length. And with that focal length comes a large variety of shots that you can do. You can do wide angle for like waterfall, and you can sneak in some wildlife photography at 300 millimeters. So the main question I wanted to ask was, if I only wanted to get one lens, is this the perfect lens to do that? Well, let's go and find that out.
So here's a quick close-up of the Sigma contemporary 16-300mm with an aperture of f3.5 to 6.7 DCOS lens that Sigma made for APS-C cameras. The massive focal range is really what sells me on this lens. It's very wide at 16mm, so fantastic for waterfalls and stuff, but you can still get some decent wildlife photography at 300mm. It's equipped with high-speed autofocus and image stabilization, and it's quite small and lightweight, which makes it absolutely ideal for traveling. Right now, you can find this lens new for only $770. And what I'm trying to pitch to you in this video is that this is the one lens that you need if you only wanted to bring one lens on a trip or just wanted to own one lens for your APS-C camera.
So really, I was very happily surprised with this lens, and here's why.
So I brought this lens out of the Finger Lakes to capture some of the gorges and waterfalls you can find around this area. One thing I have to say is, if you're visiting through upstate New York and passing by the Finger Lakes, there are so many gorge trails. Make sure you go out and explore them. They're one of the coolest places on the East Coast, in my opinion. So like I said previously, at 16mm, this makes it an ideal lens for landscape and waterfall photography. Now, it's really great with having such a wide focal length. If you're shooting landscapes and waterfalls, you don't have to shoot ultra wide at 16mm. There's definitely certain situations where I zoomed in to 35 or even 50mm to get a specific composition that I was looking for. With these various waterfall shots that I'm showing now, I found the image quality was super crystal clean, and most people out there aren't really going to be able to tell a difference between this lens and a full frame camera. So unless you're a professional photographer and you know what to look for, this is an amateur lens for traveling, hiking, and stuff like that. It's definitely going to fill the bill. At 300mm, this lens is also good for wildlife. I recently did a challenge where I tried to capture as many birds as I could in a few hours, and I'll link to that video right here in case you're interested in it. But for wildlife, specifically birds in this scenario, I found this lens absolutely wonderful to use. Most wildlife lenses, they're big, bulky, and expensive, but this is none of those. This is lightweight and relatively inexpensive for what it is. So that means if you're hiking in the woods looking for wildlife, but don't want to carry a bunch of heavy gear, this is possibly going to be one of your best options out there, especially for Sony APS-C cameras. So this is just a few of the highlight shots from that video I did a few weeks ago. And overall, for wildlife, it was quite pleasant to use just because, like I said, the weight and how inexpensive it was meant I can focus more on the hike and the trip than protecting my camera gear or carrying heavy gear. Overall, I really couldn't recommend this lens enough. It's honestly one of my favorite APS-C lenses I've ever used. If I was planning to take a light kit on a hike, a backpacking trip, traveling, using a Sony APS-C camera with this lens is one of my favorite options I've come across to date.
So I want to know down in the comments, do you think this is the one lens for APS-C cameras to rule them all? Thanks for watching this video, and I hope I catch you in the next one.